Welcome into Eye on Northeast Kansas, the podcast. I'm your host, Melissa Bruner. Eye on Northeast Kansas airs 4 o'clock Central Time, Monday through Friday on WIBW TV in the capital of Kansas, the city of Topeka. We have something special for you on the podcast. We've been explaining over these past several weeks that this is the 90th anniversary for Fiesta Topeka. It is an annual celebration of the Mexican community that has settled in the Oakland neighborhood back in the early 1900s. We took time this week at 4 to look at the history of the community, the neighborhood, and of the Fiesta celebration itself, and how proud they are to share their culture with the entire Topeka community and all of Northeast Kansas and all those who come to visit from far and wide. So take a listen to Fiesta Topeka, 90 years, a legacy of pride, passion, and culture.
It's part of our community. It's part of our heritage.
If you belong to something, you should honor it.
If we don't keep our culture alive, a part of our hearts, a part of each one of us will die.
This is a vibrant community. There's something to learn from our culture.
Welcome to our special presentation. I'm your host, Melissa Bruner. For 9 decades, Topeka's Oakland neighborhood has opened its arms to all for a party. Their Fiesta Topeka marks its 90th anniversary this year. As always, everyone is invited to the Our Lady of Guadalupe church grounds to celebrate the traditions, the dances, the music, the art, and the food of our Mexican community, all to support the church's joint school with Sacred Heart Parish Holy Family School. This milestone also gives us a chance to reflect on a story that begins before the first Fiesta ever happened.
Coming to a new country, not knowing the language, not having money. They were running away from the revolution in Mexico. That's how our grandparents and great-grandparents started here. My grandpa came to work on the railroad.
In the early 1900s, several families fleeing the political turmoil in Mexico settled in what's now Topeka's Oakland neighborhood near the Santa Fe Railroad yards. There, they found work and soon formed their own Catholic church, Our Lady of Guadalupe. The original parish opened in 1914 and met in storefronts. Artist Andy Valdivia created a mural illustrating the history of the neighborhood and church. It's in the basement of their modern addition, the Marlo Cuevas Palandran Activity Center. A key moment in time, 1933, the year of the first Fiesta. The church was searching for a way to raise money for its own building. Father Augustine Cortero, then a young priest from Colombia, shared how the idea came about when he spoke with us for the 50th anniversary of Fiesta in 1983.
I had to get the money from somebody else that was not poor.
Father Augustine also knew he had to bring together the city's white and Latino communities, which didn't interact much at the time.
If I needed 10 people in the bingo, I put 5 Mexican, 5 American. So when the Americans went to eat or to drink something, they'll see an American, they'll feel at home. And I am certain that helped a lot to eradicate the segregation in Topeka, the Mexican Fiesta days.
All kinds of people in the community came.
Mary Lou Escobar and Virginia Mendoza are the unofficial historians as Fiesta marks its 90th year in 2023. They've been visiting with people who remember those early parties.
And when I interviewed, I call her Aunt Chita, they had, of course, the Mexican food, tacos tostadas, but then they also had a house that would sell chili dogs and hot dogs. I go, in 1933? She goes, till like 2 o'clock in the morning.
Beyond the food was the entertainment. The Fiesta Bells were put together to perform traditional dances, and year after year, the strains of mariachi, salsa, and other Latin music provide the soundtrack for the festivities.
We always made it a point to go see the dancers and stuff, or the entertainment that was brought to the fiesta.
Because then back in the day, it was all local.
Yeah.
Everything was local. The bands, the music, the dancers. We could run up the streets of the fiesta without any fear of anything happening to you. So that was kind of good memories. Yeah.
I think another thing was real popular was like the fish pond.
For the kids.
Everybody wanted to go to the fish pond to get your little treat in your little bags.
Over the years, fiesta activities have grown and changed. The carnival went from a few rides in the streets around the church to a full-blown carnival in the Santa Fe parking lot. Games were a big hit with kids of all ages.
Bingo was a big deal. And I remember people could win prizes like big lamps, just all kind of prizes. And of course, they used to have the jalapeno eating contest, but they don't have that anymore.
That got a little tough on the stomach.
Yeah, a little tough on the stomach.
The fiesta also has spread beyond just the Oakland neighborhood.
In 1972, they started a parade. It was a small parade, and it's grown into a pretty large parade.
Wait for you, a fiesta! Begins Tuesday!
As a child, you look forward to coming to the fiesta, but now as a child, you look forward to participating in the fiesta or the parade, or coming to the parade so that you can get candy and the beautiful costumes. Everybody decorates their cars, or their bicycles, and children can ride their bikes down.
In 2022, they also moved their kickoff mini Jamaica to downtown and Evergy Plaza. But at the center of it all remains Our Lady of Guadalupe Church and their parish school.
The Fiesta Mass always starts the Sunday before the fiesta. Everybody wears their traditional Mexican clothes. That's kind of special.
For 90 years, with only a 4-year absence from 1968 to 1972, Fiesta has not wavered. Even after the 1966 tornado devastated much of the neighborhood, they came together for Fiesta. Even during the COVID pandemic, they found a way for at least a few drive-through food sales. Because at the heart of it all is community. You see it in the planning and organizing.
If you need people to cook the food or make the food, if you need work outside, everything that needs to be done, somehow you'll find someone in that church, our church, that has that special talent that can get that done.
And you also see the community that welcomes everyone into their family.
People that used to live here, they take their vacations and come to Fiesta. That's still special to them because they know it's part of our community, it's part of our heritage, it's part of traditions continuing.
This is a vibrant community. There's something to learn from our culture, not only the food, but the traditions that go on within the fiesta.
And don't be alarmed if you encounter this fun tradition, the cascarones.
We're gonna crack them here. Oh, for real? Yeah.
Eggshells filled with confetti.
It's fiesta time.
One of the many traditions of Fiesta Topeka is the royalty competition. It's not a pageant. Young people in the community work to raise the most money for Holy Family School. Family and friends get involved, and it's a source of lifelong pride for those who've reigned.
Mary Mendoza Chavez, and I was Fiesta Queen in 1948.
Margaret Serrano Cortez, and I was queen in 1953.
Rose of Lima Vargas Ramos, and I was queen in 1957.
I'm Jenny Tetuan Heim, and the year that I ran for queen was 1973.
My name is Celia Rangel Vega, and I was queen in 1983.
5 Fiesta Queens representing 4 decades. The royal tradition started 6 years after Fiesta began, with Marie Mendoza crowned the first queen in 1939. Back then, candidates didn't sell food, they sold votes, a penny apiece.
There wasn't really how beautiful you were or how popular you were. It's how hard you worked to sell those things that you got it, either to home or house to house or wherever. You'd stop and ask if they would buy the votes.
I kind of try to shy away from the idea of going to sell votes, but then, my grandfather encouraged me, and so I went ahead and, started selling votes. Then I didn't mind the idea then that I was meeting a lot of, new people, and also the idea that it was for the church and I was helping.
It was something you looked up to. As a little girl, I enjoyed it. Two of my sisters and my cousins and my best friend, we would get together in the evening. After we'd get home from work, we'd hurry and eat, and then we'd start.
By the 60s and 70s, royalty candidates were getting creative.
And we did a lot of food sales. And that's when, we could sell food, Mexican food at our home. And then we would go to different places, for instance, a dance. It was nice that you had big families because cousins and aunts and uncles and my brothers and sisters, they all came and they were there to help every day.
One of the traditions was the Jamaica, and the Jamaica was the night where we split up the different booths that we had. So we had the snow cones, the popcorn, different things. No matter how tired we were, we would always have time to sing and dance, serving the food to the people that would come. It's a lot of hard work, but a lot of love that went into the cooking. And just thinking of all the generations that would prepare food with love and giving back of their culture, it just touches my heart.
It's those memories that live on, no matter how tough they seemed at the time.
Well, all I can tell you, I was a wet queen because it rained all 4 days.
Some people that bought tickets from me that said that I was doing a real nice thing.
My favorite memory, probably, the ball, the coronation ball. That was a lot of fun and recognition and giving the school the credit because that's where I started.
We did do a couple of representations in the community. It was nice to represent the church and the school.
This year's royalty candidates have been working on their own memories, always keeping the goal in sight.
It's not the work, it's the dedication and just being positive and showing others and being a role model for the next generation.
I hope to be an inspiration to not only my siblings, but other girls or boys that want to do it. It's a really good opportunity.
In 1998, the Fiesta Queen was joined by a Fiesta King. These royals say they're happy to see opportunity for more young people to be involved, to carry on that sense of pride for their community, their faith, their traditions, and their school.
It became important for the girls, to have that privilege and that be the pride.
It's nice to come back and see friends and family and just help with the fiesta.
Kids need something to look forward to contribute to the school.
I went to that school and I belong to that church. So if you belong to something, you should honor it. And that's what I do.
We did what we did in order to continue our culture, to keep our school open, because they are our future, to keep our culture going.
For 90 years, Fiesta Topeka has told a story of the city's Mexican community, their traditions, their culture, their families. The story continues to be written in their school. Our Lady of Guadalupe Church had its own parish school, which combined with Sacred Heart in 2006 to form Holy Family Catholic School. The former Our Lady of Guadalupe building is now Holy Family's West Campus. And just in time for the 90th Fiesta, it's ready to share the story in a new way.
We wanted to kind of capture the history of this church and this section of the community as best as we possibly could.
Along the walls of Holy Family School's West Campus, artist Jamie Colon is sharing the story of his home.
When we tell them that we grew up in Oakland, The vast majority of people in Topeka go, where's that at? Now when you come over the bridge, the first thing you see is this building. We painted it bright red. You're never going to miss or not know where this neighborhood or this church is.
Rather than the murals for which Jamie is known around town, this story is told in tiles. People in the community shared photos, which were crafted into the tiles. Jamie is now placing them into a mosaic around the building's exterior, inviting people to visit, look, and share.
People that you're seeing on these walls are all storytellers. That's how you got your story. You went to church on Sunday, you went to your grandma's house for dinner right after church, and stories just got told over and over again. It was always the verbal. So now, some of these folks are still here, some of them aren't, but because we put them on the wall, they're continuing to tell a story. But the story is not them, it's the people that come and tell the story about them. So we're back to that verbal, that one-on-one. Not only are you finding your family member, but what they're doing is they come along, they're talking about, oh, I remember her, I remember him. Let me tell you about this person. So the story gets told all the way down the wall. So they're not coming to one section, they're going through the whole wall and having these conversations, which is the most important thing.
Jamie's own ancestors are here. So are some of the neighborhood's founders who came to work on the railroad. So are those early students who graduated from this school building, a school supported by the neighborhood's best-known tradition, the annual Fiesta.
The first church was built, and it was like 2-story. The school was on top, and the church was on the bottom. And then as it went on, the school, there were a lot of kids, so they built the school.
The community wanted their children to learn their heritage, and that's one way is to keep the school open and prospering, and it's still going today.
Still going largely because of the support Fiesta offers, current principal Travis Lamb explained.
It not only helps ensure that the lights are on, but that we have a sound curriculum and we have enrichment experiences that really enhance the education for our Mustangs. As we are emerging out of COVID and looking for those experiences to go to the White House Decision Center at the Truman Library to ensure our kids can go to the symphony or have materials for our 3D printer.
While Fiesta is part of the story you'll see on the West Campus wall with a section dedicated to Our Lady of Guadalupe and the royalty, Jamie says he hopes visitors will see much more.
When we talk about Our Lady of Guadalupe, the only thing they know is the Fiesta. But there are many other things that happen here. And so this is a good way to broadcast those things out. There's a ton of neighborhoods in here that have the same kind of story that we do. The problem is it stays in the neighborhood. I want it to get out. Because then once you know more about Topeka, you have a better understanding of where you live at.
Jamie expects the mural to be mostly complete in time for this year's Fiesta Topeka. He plans to create a section-by-section record so it will be easier to find any specific photos you might be looking for. Just like a home, the heart of Fiesta Topeka just might be the kitchen. And when Fiesta began, the home kitchen is where the food was made.
And then would take them to the church to sell. When I was getting involved, we only had the little kitchen underneath the church. 1, 2, 3 stoves. This was like the enchilada group that would be making it. Over here inside the kitchen is where they would be making like beans and stuff. Crews of elderly people that would come at 2 o'clock in the morning to cook all the beans, to shred all the lettuce.
From homes in the early years to that small kitchen serving up tacos, burritos, enchiladas, and more consumed around long tables in the intense July heat under the shade of a tent, they now work in upper and lower kitchens with tables in the air-conditioned comfort of the Marlo Cuevas Belander Activity Center, and the community is still eating it up.
Since 1988 to 2023, we have made 258,607 tamales. So that's a lot. There's a crew that comes in 8 o'clock in the morning that starts enchiladas. And I think on average they make 21 to 2,400 enchiladas. But we do have the facility to make this food, and that's what's really nice.
Heriberto Gonzalez is keeping traditional dance alive through Ballet Folklorico de Topeka.
They come from different regions of Mexico, different states. The influences on each one is dependent on which group from Europe and wherever were primary there. This comes from our history of our relatives that first came into the Topeka area with the railroad, and they have started needing some type of activities, and they all had fiestas back home. They wanted to have one here, and so when they got with the priest, they decided, well, let's go ahead and start one.
Traditional dance and music has been a fiesta staple since the start. The Fiesta Bells performed at the very first fiesta in 1933. Generations have aspired to follow in their footsteps.
Well, you felt so special because you got to dance with, for the fiesta, and that was something special that made you feel very good and proud of your heritage.
This year is special.
We opened up our academy this year. Our youngest one is 5, and we knew this was going to be the 90th anniversary, so I wanted to open it up for some young kids this year. And some of my alumni said, we want to participate also, so I've got some of my alumni coming. I'm figuring somewhere between around 45 dancers that are going to be performing with my particular group.
Through dance, Eddie hopes come steps to bridging what might divide us.
Not just here, but throughout the United States, we've had so many problems because they do not understand each other. Each culture is having a problem identifying with itself sometimes. And so now it's good for them to start meeting other people in other areas. Like we've had the German Fest in Oakland, and now we have also the Mexican Fiesta.
From the Our Lady of Guadalupe Parish and Holy Family School families and the entire Oakland community, this is your invitation to join the party. The 90th anniversary Fiesta Topeka runs July 18th to 22nd, 2023 on the Our Lady of Guadalupe grounds near Northeast Chandler and Atchison Streets. Enjoy the traditions and continue the story of this vibrant part of our Topeka community. 90 years of pride, passion, and culture. We had so much fun learning the history, hearing those stories, and seeing some of the video from our 13 News archive. So if you would like to watch our Fiesta Topeka 90-year special, be sure to log on to WIBW.com, and you'll also find it on our WIBW TV YouTube channel. Have a great week. We'll see you at Fiesta, and we'll see you on the red couch.